The community of Shiloh sprang up along the branches of Brushy Creek, which is right back here. It was located near Wilburger Crossing, and later called the Shiloh Crossing and Rogaine Crossing. The small community which the cemetery originally served no longer exists. However, it did predate Hutto. The demise of Shiloh may be in part due to the founding of Hutto, as families relocated to that nearby town as the railroad made its entry into the area. The Shiloh settlement dates to about 1848, when Nelson Morey and Josiah Taylor established stores in the area along Brushy Creek. Josiah moved to Georgetown in 1850. The land where the cemetery sits is part of the original land grant number 9575 for 1,852 acres issued to the heirs of William Gatlin, who was an officer in the Army of the Republic of Texas and was killed in the defeat of Colonel Fannin by the Mexican Army. Located near Hutto, Williamson County, Texas, the community of Shiloh consisted of a school, a church, 2 stores, and a few residents who lived on or near Brushy Creek. This area was a cattle crossing during the days following the Civil War, but before that, it had been a major route taken by many as they advanced southward through Texas. Many of the early families who lived in Shiloh were buried or have relatives who were buried in Shiloh Cemetery, known as Shiloh Cemetery, the McCutcheon Cemetery, and the Shiloh McCutcheon Cemetery during the early years. However, the first burial in the cemetery was attributed to the death of a woman passing through the area, and her name is not known. The first recorded burial was that of Josiah Kirkendall in 1853. Even though the cemetery has been in existence from at least that time, there were 2 Kirkendall brothers that were buried here in 1853. The land was not deeded as a cemetery until February the 5th, 1890, when William McCutcheon deeded to Shiloh Cemetery by warranty deed, and that was filed February the 13th, 1890, at 9 a.m., Volume 52, page 205, Deed Records of Williamson County, Texas. William McCutcheon formerly deeded the land for the cemetery with trustees F.F. Farley, Green Randolph, and William Rogan. 2 of the original trustees, F.F. Farley and William Rogan, are buried in the cemetery. Green Randolph died in the territory of New Mexico on January the 3rd, 1893, and is buried in the Masonic Cemetery in the Las Cruces, New Mexico town. William and Elisabeth McCutcheon were the parents of 13 children. 6 of their children, John, Jesse Anderson, Joseph Thomas, George, Fannie E., and Jeff, are buried in the cemetery. Shiloh Cemetery documents many of the families who lived or passed through the small community, and once the community no longer existed, families who remained in the area are also documented by these burials in the cemetery. Today, the only burials that are permitted are the ashes of people who are direct descendants of persons already buried there, and this is due to the large number of unmarked graves in the cemetery.